Hello, good evening. My name is Catherine and I'm with SEB Housing. And tonight we're going to run the lottery for the 20 affordable rental units that are included in phases 3 and 4 of construction at Richmond Meadows 2 in Nantucket. We're going to get the lottery underway in just a few moments. If you have any questions during this meeting, you're encouraged to go ahead and type them into the chat that you see there on Zoom. Or you can unmute yourself momentarily. If you do, I just ask that you go ahead and mute yourself again once you're all set, and we can minimize that outside noise. The meeting is being recorded. You should have received that message when you first joined in, and it will be saved for anyone that wasn't able to attend that wants to watch it on SEB Housing's YouTube channel. So first, I just want to give some background information before we do the drawing about how many applicants have applied. If you have your screen available right now, you will see just a little summary of the applications and the different units that are available through this lottery. There's a lot of different income tiers and bedroom sizes and all of that. So rather than listing them out in this call, I wanted you to be able to see it here. There's also going to be a follow-up email that's sent later on tonight or tomorrow morning that's going to have this information. So don't feel like you need to write it down or really take a close look at it. That will all be included in that email. So all households, all approved households for this lottery should already have a lottery application number, and your number is between A.001 and A.138. So let me know if you don't have that number or if you misplaced it, because that is the number that is going to be drawn in the lottery. Your name isn't going to be called tonight, and it's not going to be on the waiting list that you see. So again, just let me know if you don't have that number so I can get that to you in chat. So there are 20 affordable units. There were 138 completed applications. So there's going to be 138 households total in the lottery. And again, it's broken down a little bit on your screen, but just kind of a broad overview. There are 7 studio apartments, and there were a total of 40 completed applications for those. There are 6 one-bedroom apartments, and there were completed applications for 59 applicants. There are 5 two-bedroom apartments, and there was 88 completed applications for those units. There are 2 three-bedroom apartments with a total of 39 applications. And again, these are all, broken into different income tiers depending on what your income is. So you can see a little bit of that on your screen. The lottery results from the drawing tonight, you're not going to know exactly where you are on the waiting list because they do still need to be sorted. So I'll talk a little bit more about that, but just want to say that up front that, if you're attending this lottery, you're still going to have to wait to get an email later on tonight or tomorrow morning to see exactly where you are on the waiting list, because we still have to sort by bedroom type and or bedroom size, I should say, and income tier and all of that. So back when you completed your application, you will have indicated, and we will have confirmed that you're either a type 1, type 2, type 3 household. And what that means is really it's just tied to your household size. So I want you to keep in mind that for the 2-bedroom waiting list, type 2 and 3 households are going to have priority over type 1 households. So the smaller households won't have priority for those larger units. Same with the 3-bedroom units. And that's just because the program is designed so that smaller households don't have priority for those larger bedrooms that larger families may need. There was local preference or priority for this lottery. So there are 14 affordable units that will have preference for local households. So if you answered yes on your lottery application to the local preference question, the lottery eligibility email that you received from SEB Housing should have confirmed that you are going to be considered a local preference household. There's also one unit that is equipped with accessibility features for persons with disabilities. So households who require those features of the unit will have priority for those units. So again, the drawing, because of all of this, these different sorting actions that need to take place after the actual drawing, that's why you won't know exactly where you place until you receive a follow-up email from me. So there's going to be 2 drawings tonight. I'm going to be using a website rather than pulling 138 cards from a box. I'm going to be using a website called random.org to complete the drawings. And I'm going to screen share with you. You're going to be able to see it happening instantaneously. The first drawing is going to be a local preference drawing. That is where I'm going to include the 108 households who have local preference. And the random.org list is going to just randomly generate a list. It's going to scramble up those numbers, and just like a lottery would if I was doing it by hand, and it's going to spit out results. So I'm going to show you just kind of how that works before we actually run the drawing. We're doing it this way to just try to keep the results as truly random as possible. Again, rather than pulling the numbers out of a box. And then after that local preference drawing, I'm going to be doing the same thing for the 138 households who applied, whether you had local preference or not. So we need to do those 2 drawings in order to get the results that I need to sort the waiting list. And again, like I said, I'm going to be screen sharing with you so you can see how that works. And again, this is because we need to generate the results from tonight's lottery to be able to populate the waiting list. So after the lottery, I've been speaking about what you're going to receive after the lottery. There's going to be an email sent to all lottery households with information on next steps. There was 3 of you that did not have an email address to provide. So if you're one of those people, you're going to be getting the results in regular mail. So a copy of the waiting list is going to be attached to that email that you receive either tonight or tomorrow morning. And you can see exactly where your lottery number has placed relative to other lottery applicants at that time. And then keep in mind too, if you indicated that you were interested in more than 1 unit size, you are going to have a placement on more than 1 waiting list. So if you applied for both a studio or a 1-bedroom unit, you're going to be on both of those lists. So when you receive that email with the waiting list, you're going to see that the top households are highlighted in green, and that's because those households are going to be immediately invited forward by the leasing office to complete a lease application. The leasing office might invite more households than there are available units. And that's because during lease screenings, management offices typically see that applicants drop off. They might change their mind about renting an apartment, or they're found ineligible, whatever it might be. So if you're not highlighted in green when you see the lottery application, the waiting list, it doesn't mean that you're not going to be called forward at a future date to be able to complete a lease screening with the management team. So after you've done your lease application with the leasing office, if you are one of those top households, you are going to be, if you're found lease eligible, I should say, you're going to have a chance to go ahead and select an apartment and reserve the unit. That doesn't mean lease it right away, because you still need to be screened for the Affordable Housing Program by SEB. So just keep in mind, if you're not one of those top households right now, you're not going to be contacted right away. But if top households drop off the waiting list, which happens quite often, you will potentially be contacted later on. And so again, it's important to keep in mind that we have only, at SEB, we have only initially screened you for program eligibility. So you haven't been found lease eligible yet. That's what you're going to be completing with the leasing office. The typical type of leasing criteria that you may have gone through before with other management companies. So it could be, background checks, rental references, credit checks, that sort of thing. That will be done with Richmond Meadows. And then once you have been found lease eligible and reserve that unit, SCB Housing is then going to require you at that time to submit all of your income, asset, and tax documentation for your program eligibility review. So up to this point, you've only submitted your lottery application, which you didn't have to supply any supporting documentation with. So even after you've chosen your unit, say you were lease screened, you want to make sure that you know that you're not signing a lease. You shouldn't be giving notice to your current landlord if you have one until you've been approved by SCB Housing and have that lease date set. Just a couple more things before I do the drawing. So every household, speaking of submitting all of your income information at a later date, when you were found eligible for this lottery, you should have received a documentation requirements guide, and that details everything that you need to submit during your final review. So how many pay stubs, what types of tax documents, that sort of thing. You'll have about 10 days to get that information into us if you are one of those top households that is found lease eligible. And then finally, just a reminder that if you end up renting one of these affordable units at Richmond Meadows, if you're living in affordable apartments, you will need to recertify your income every year. So with the leasing office, should be doing that. And we typically just, like to remind people, you want to maintain maybe a folder or something like that, records of your income, pay stubs, tax documentation for as long as you're living in the unit, just so you have that handy. So any questions before I just kind of do a demonstration of how I'm going to be running the digital lottery here? If not, I'm going to just kind of show you what that means. I said I was going to go on to random.org. Here I am. This is the website, random.org. I'm going to go to list randomizer. And when it comes time to run the drawing in just a few minutes, I'm going to be putting all of the lottery application numbers, so A.001 through A.138. That's the 138 applicants that we have. I'm going to be putting it in here, and it's going to randomize it for me, so I have the lottery results. I'm also going to be doing the local preference drawing, which has 108 application numbers in it. So just to give you an example of what is going to happen, so I'm going to put in 5 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I click randomize, and it spits out, number 3 came out first in this randomization that just happened. So right now, when I put in the lottery application numbers, it's going to do the same thing. I'm going to make sure I screenshot it for myself, and I have all of the results so you can take a look and see where you landed. Again, the results from tonight still need to be sorted, but you'll be able to see where you fell. All right. Any questions on that? And if not, I'm going to go ahead and grab those numbers so we can do the drawing. All right. Just give me one moment. Okay, so I'm going to go again into list randomizer. I have 108 numbers. Let me see if I can show you here. This is the spreadsheet I'm looking at. These are all of the households who claimed local preference. So you'll see not every number is here. A.001, for example, is not here because there's 108 numbers here. that I'm going to go ahead and paste into the list randomizer. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste these. And this is the local preference drawing. All right, so I'm going to press randomize, and I'm going to have the results for the local preference drawing. There were 108 items, it's telling me. And these are the results that I'm going to make sure I have as a screenshot, and then I will let you see those results in just a moment. I promise this is better than listening to me pull out 138 numbers. And it's quicker, and it should be less human error as well. We don't have to worry about things sticking together and all of that. So okay, so before I get off the screen here, I'm going to take all of the numbers and put them into that spreadsheet that I was using, and then we will be able to share the results with you. Before I find your number, if anybody is curious to see where you landed, before I do that, I am going to do the general drawing, and then I can let you know where you fell. I'm going to leave this here for now, actually, before I sort that. Okay. And then the general drawing. I'm going to go back to the list randomizer. I'm going to put in these 108. This is everyone who was found eligible for the lottery, the 138 application numbers. And then here I go again. They're all here. And this is the general drawing results. Put them into my spreadsheet so you have a better view of what's going on there. And so that's it. I see I think there's only 11 of you on the call right now. So if anybody would like me to look up their number, I can do that. I will need you to put your information in the chat, just your number, if you want me to look that up for you, or like I said, you can just wait until you get the results later on this evening, because there is a lot of sorting that needs to happen before you know exactly where you fall. So I'm going to get out of this. Again, this is the local drawing. You can see it on your screen here. The numbers are here. I do have someone. Okay, A, set up for you. A.067, you were drawn 104th in the general drawing. And it looks like you were not in the local drawing. Make sure there. Correct. No, you were. You were. Just a minute. And you were drawn 34th in the local drawing. That's A.067. And then A.006, you were 81st in the local drawing. And then in the general drawing, you were 41st. A.28, you were 63rd in the general drawing, and you weren't in that local, which you knew. A.076, in the local drawing, you were 103rd. A.076, you were 93rd in the general drawing. And then I have one more here, A.025. In the general drawing, you were drawn 116th. In the local drawing, you were drawn 5th. Anyone else? Like I said, these results still need to be sorted. So the placement that I just gave you doesn't mean a whole lot now. There could be a lot of people ahead of you on the waiting list who applied for unit sizes that you're not interested in, and that sort of thing. So I will do my best to have an email out to you later on this evening with the results, and you're going to be able to see where you fall on each of these waiting lists after we've done the sorting. But the drawing is all set. That was the lottery, and you know, hopefully you were able to see the screen and all of that. So any other questions before I go ahead and get sorting here? Before I end the call? All right, so we'll be in touch. Again, you should hear, oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. I thought I saw my number in the second position of the general drawing, but I'm not seeing it there now.
So that's the local. Here's the general. I'll put it back up here.
Okay, good.
There you go. Yeah. There it is. Yep.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, if there's no one else, I'm going to go ahead and start sorting these. Hopefully, like I said, I hope to get out an email tonight. If not, you will hear from me tomorrow, hopefully before noon, with an email. If any of you didn't provide an email address, you'll have the lottery results in the mail. All right, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll be in touch. Have a good night.